This is the Flight Data Collector Group, and this is our Week 8 update. This week we did a bunch of smaller things. We talked in our technical cohorts to gain more knowledge for our tech demos. We got updates from Carlo and discussed general requirements for our project. We turned in our final draft for our project document part 1 and 2 and made a lot of progress on that. And we also peer-reviewed other people's design impact assessments. The peer reviews for the design impact assessments were really useful this week because it allowed us to see other people's drafts and sort of understand how other people felt about the assignment. It really let your own eyes open up to see the negative impacts of others and sort of allowed me to consider how those might impact my own project. I think it'll really help me write the final draft for mine, and I think the other group mates agree with that as well. I think it was also nice to receive our feedback this week, and it will allow us to better adjust our own design impact assessments to fit the project. In the coming weeks, we'll be able to put that all together into one single impact assessment that will go in our project document in Section 2.
Over this past week, we've been able to make additions to Section 1 and Section 2 of our project document. In Section 1, we've been able to add the requirements of better communication and conflict resolution, as well as having a gap analysis that is now more defined. Additionally, in Section 2 of the document, our verification methods have been finalized, and we now have concrete measurements such as IP51 protection and military standard tests to make sure that the project is apt for high altitude environments. We've also heard from our project partner, Carlo, after an inquiry about SD cards that we should be using, and they have gotten back to us saying that they will be able to provide M2 sticks for the slots given, as well as giving information on what type of FPGA we should use and recommendations on that.
For our project status update, we have decided to use a ECP5 FPGA from Lattice Semiconductor in Oregon. They make very cost-effective and powerful FPGA, and we're going to use these to build the interface with the RNA-18. And we have just taken a look at the ECP5 FPGA. It appears to be out of stock right now, and so we don't have a part number yet. We're still deciding which variants of ECP5 to purchase. Aside from that, we have also updated our project timeline schedule to include the entire 30 weeks of the duration of the project. And we have arranged these in a monthly milestone format, so each month we have a milestone which is listed over here. These are our monthly milestone.
So for this week, we got a new feedback from the student for the technical cohort discussion. So he talks about how to use a transformerless circuit that could help to step down the voltage, high voltage input. And it also can do the AC to DC converter by using a transformer circuit. So basically how the circuit works is capacitor block the entry of the main current and restrict it to a lower level determined by the resistance value of capacitor. And then however, the voltage is not restricted, and therefore the 202 volt or whatever the input is allowed to reach the subsequent bridge rectifier stage. So the bridge rectifies this 202 volts to a higher 310 volt DC. And then the 310 volt DC is instantly reduced to a lower level DC by the next sensor diode stage, which responds to the sensor value. If a 12 volt sensor is used, it will become 12 volt and so on. And then the capacitor 2 finally filter the 12 volt DC with ripples, and then we get a clean 12 volt DC. And that is a very helpful from the student, very helpful feedback. And then our plans for next week is to review the draft project document, section 1 to 3. And then we're going to make some block diagrams. And we will also have a team meeting to design and improve the block diagrams.
And here's our time span for each of our team members this week. And since we have a lot of things going on this week, we haven't had a chance to do our weekly meeting yet. But we are planning to have that tomorrow when we can work together on redesigning our block diagrams and interface definitions, as well as on the project document section 3, which is the next step that we are going to do. And that's it. Thank you.